Health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel. Our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Coaxum Report. This is Terry Coaxum, and I'm delighted to have as a guest today Miss Grace Clark. Miss Grace Clark, how are you?
Good day, Dr. Coaxum. How are you? It is such a pleasure to be
here. I am blessed. I'm so happy to have you on today. It has truly been a pleasure working with you in a few endeavors, and so it's great to have you on to talk a little bit about what you do. And so before we just jump into our show today, I just want you to tell us a little bit about who is Grace M. Clark and what do you do and how did you get in the space that you're in right now?
So really quickly, I am a technology program manager out of Brooklyn, New York, and I've been in this space now for over 10 years. I specialize in connecting business strategy, technology execution, training, and transformation in corporate America.
Nice.
And, I've been doing it for a little while now, and I really enjoy it. And I enjoy the circles I'm in with the people that I get to work for. Every day is a learning experience or a teaching experience and a challenge.
I mean, it's interesting that you're in a space that I don't usually find a lot of women business owners in. So tell me a little bit about that. I always like to start with some barriers to your industry. So let's talk a little bit about your educational background and then some of the barriers that you had to face when you were jumping into that industry. And then I want to talk a little bit about the best practices. What did you do to kind of stand out in the fray, right? And then most importantly, I want to talk about some big ideas because I know there's some great technology that exists now that helps our business owners work smarter and not necessarily harder. So I want to talk about that. But before that, I want to talk a little bit about barriers because I know there's a lot in your industry because it is a technology space. So talk to me a little bit about barriers.
The good thing about being in this space is that there is enough work for everyone. I work with senior development managers and delivery managers that, as you've noted, are mostly male.
Right.
But in today's biggest industry barriers, it's about fragmented ownership across the board. Vendor dependency, compressed delivery timelines, increasing regulatory scrutiny. And what I find in this industry is as long as you're qualified, your barrier is ignorance. Your barrier is not getting involved. And where we have regenerative and transformative AI coming up now, as long as you decide that you're going to immerse yourself in the learning experience that is AI, then you're going to be amongst your peers. My background is I have a business degree in computer science, and I have a graduate degree in public administration.
Right.
I worked myself through undergrad at Long Island University. I'm an alum of the Brooklyn Center, right across the street from Juniors in New York. And I have a computer science degree, right? Information technology. I am also a certified project manager, and I am a certified out of SUNY. I am a Bernard Baruch University.
Nice. Okay.
I am certified for risk management and regulatory. So, for instance, everybody has a bank account, everybody banks. In the regulatory space, there are consent orders those are the amendments and the legal documents that keep banks honest. And that is a global certification. So I can work with any consent orders at any bank, whether or not it's a commercial bank, international bank, all the things, right?
Right.
And I think what I want to tell people today is ask questions.
Yeah.
And ask many questions and ask many resources. In my space, the barrier of not having a somebody to speak out for me led me to finding a sponsor and having a mentor. And they're two different things. And I have sponsors and mentors across the generations. I have sponsors and mentors who are younger than me, who teach me about new technology and teach me about the new culture. And I have older mentors who talk to me and are the people who normally, when a new program comes up, they speak my name in those rooms where I am not. They talk about what I've already delivered as a transformation specialist. So the barrier is not learning.
Right.
The barrier is not having a relationship with true technologists, practitioners, as I might, who will speak your name in those rooms. So it's not different than any other executive female in every other industry. You have to have somebody who's going to speak up for you, and you also have to be open to learning what you don't know, and you have to be open to being wrong about what you've been right all along, because technology changes.
Wow.
If we don't accept the fact that what we knew about programming and development in the past has changed in this new world of AI, we're not going to grow, we're not going to expand, and nobody's going to call our name.
Wow. I want to talk to you. I want you to talk to me a little bit about that network. I think that's really important. That's an important piece.
So I sit in a sweet spot because I have a business degree and I have a public administration degree. I have relationships in corporate America in financial services. I'm a banker's baby. Both my parents retired from banking at Chase Manhattan Bank. And I also, because of my graduate degree in public administration, I came out of university and I went straight to working in civil service. So I have the benefit of sitting in the gray area that is technology for both worlds. And those relationships are mentors in the space who have made a difference, and also young up and coming technologists who know that I'm one of those resources who I'm soup to nuts. I'm not a niche, or I'm not specific in one area. I tie everything together in corporate operations and make sure that the transformation happens across the board and everybody speaks to everybody. In order to be successful, I've had to be very disciplined in governance, accountability, building relationships. That's my project management certification. Enhancing and encouraging what happens in technology and how it supports operations. KPIs, key performance indicators, making sure they're aligned with our statement of work. These are all terms that everybody is used to and familiar with. And it doesn't matter if you're in banking, if you're in insurance, if you're in hospitals, if you're working on public administration contracts for the Department of Homeless Services or for NYCHA. Doing all this work, as long as you have a disciplined governance and clear accountability for all the people you're working with, and everybody understands that either we sync together or we succeed together, we can move forward with daily delivery and implementation in the technology world.
And that's really important. It's important for us. Sometimes we get into business and don't understand the importance of compliance.
Right.
Compliance will break your business. So you have to make sure that you understand what you don't know, right? And bring in people like you to help us to be able to move through the process a lot quicker. And there's the technology that exists now that can help us understand it better. And so you're absolutely right. I mean, networks matter, right? So when you talked about having someone in a room, even in the room that you're not in, speak your name. It's important, right, to have that. I always say you have to make sure that you have a mentor, a sponsor, and then that person that knows the good, the bad, the ugly, and won't judge you, right?
Right.
The sponsor, I want to add a little bit to it because everything can be free. So your mentor is your mentor. Your sponsor is the one that's going to make sure that you're in those rooms that you're supposed to be in, even if your checkbook doesn't say that you should be there yet, right? They know that you should be there. They're going to make sure that you're there because everything can't be free. And I have to stress that because I mentor a lot of young people and they didn't understand the importance of having both. They're always talking about a mentor, but you also need someone that is going to be your sponsor. that is going to get you into rooms that you wouldn't even know exist, right? You know, Hamilton said it best, the room where it happens, right? You want to make sure that you're in your room where it happens. It's really, really important, right? So thank you so much for sharing all those nuggets as far as the barriers are concerned, having the right networks, understanding what you don't know. That accountability piece is huge, right? Because at the end of the day, you are the face of your business. You're the brand of your business. And so anything that happens under your watch is your responsibility. And so you need to know those things that are taking place. So thank you so much for that. I want to talk a little bit about best practices, because I know, you know, there are barriers to your industry. Like I said, you know, you already understand that a lot of times you're dealing with males and not necessarily males that look like us, but you're always dealing with more males than you are females in the industry that you're in. And that's okay, right? Because you are a project manager, you do have a huge network, and you're able to make sure that your clients are getting exactly what they need when they need it, and even things that they didn't even know they needed. You're making sure that they get that as well. So what are some of the best practices that you utilize to make that happen?
So in my space, to your point, I very rarely have a senior delivery manager or a senior developer that looks like us. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, at Satoris, where I am today, I have the opportunity to work with a senior manager, Gary Miller, out of Boston. And he's not hands-on. He knows what his team is able to deliver. We work in a space where, of course, in project management, you have waterfall, agile, or hybrid. And we are working on projects now, supporting the community and building a client base. Nice. We're very, very keen on translating the technical complexity of the application and the operations into business-aligned decisions. We're able to maintain speed, quality, and compliance all at the same time. But I wanted to talk a little bit about your mentees and mine. Nothing is free, but everything doesn't have to be transactional.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Often what I find is when people walk up to me and ask me to be their mentor, they immediately ask me to do something for them. Make a phone call for them. They ask me to make a recommendation. These are people who I've never worked for or with, people who've never done community service or worked on a actual technical project. And they're asking for recommendations for pretty high compensation positions. I entertain every ask. And normally what I tell my mentees is the people who you're reaching out to and asking for favors, do a favor for them first. When I grew up, I sound like an old lady, but when I was coming up in the industry, I did a lot of volunteer work.
That's right.
For organizations, for instance, Rainbow Push with
how I really met you.
Jesse Jackson. You know I was going to throw that in there.
That's it.
Reverend Jesse Jackson. We did a lot of volunteer work. We ran their events. We were volunteers. We built relationships.
That's right.
We built their technology. We wired their rooms. We made sure that their event planning software and all of their technology worked together.
That's right.
I had the opportunity to work with my lodge brother, Reverend Al Sharpton, working on various projects, making sure that there was exposure, learning how to work with people who were unfamiliar and who were unable, or who I had to teach them what they needed to do.
That's right.
Building new relationships. And over time, when there were jobs out there where there were opportunities for new projects and new programs, those were the men who spoke my name.
That's right.
Right? And so what I tell people when they ask me how I got to where I am and how do they get to where I am on the compensation train, I tell them volunteer to do something for somebody. Even if you only know half of the job, the other half of the job you'll learn on the job, and then people will speak your name when you're in the room. And that's what you want to happen. You want to build collateral. It's called street cred, corporate street cred, right?
Build collateral. I love it. Build collateral. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And remember, build collateral. We're going to start on that.
Reimagine a world where the Caribbean is seamlessly connected, where our people, our cultures, and our economies move freely across the islands. This is Connect Caribbean, more than a ferry service. It's the heartbeat of a new era, an era where economic opportunities expand, where trade flows freely across our seas, and cultural exchange flourishes. We are linking businesses, empowering communities, and reigniting the hope for a truly integrated Caribbean. Together, we're shaping a brighter, more unified future for the Caribbean. Connect Caribbean, connecting our islands, our people, our future.
Imagine, if you will, a single point of connection that puts at your fingertips all of the things that we do in our daily lives with ease of access and convenience. Whether in your personal life, for work, travel, and entertainment with family, friends, and in your work life. The new OneConnect app is all you need to make your life more manageable and efficient in maximizing the best use of your time. The OneConnect app is your new connection in a world of busy people with lots to do and not enough time to get things done. OneConnect app was created with you in mind and is all you need. Download OneConnect app now. Also visit us at www.oneconnectapp.com.
TravelShare. It Marketplace is an innovative, dynamic, user-friendly, and fully comprehensive global travel marketplace, featuring all Caribbean islands as a premier destinations. TravelShare. It Marketplace featured daily travel news, arts, culture, events, travel weather news, individuals' remote work, flex time, paid time off, family leisure time, and travel deals to better connect the U.S., Caribbean, and the Americas worldwide. So no matter where you want to travel in the world for work or leisure, working remotely or on vacation by yourself, with friends or family, whether by air or sea, TravelShare. It Marketplace makes it easy to get you to your destination. Book now at www.travelshareit.com.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the Tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a wrap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo.
Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. I have the pleasure of having Grace Clark on, Senior Risk Manager in New York, Satirius. And to those of you that are just joining us, you can catch us at Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, Roku. You can also download our app, ourtv.net. And we also have our OneConnect app that connect you to anything and everything. So please, download the app so you can connect to us. You can also listen to us simultaneously here on WSTX Bloomberg. So thank you and welcome back to the Coaxum Report. How are you, Grace?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for being on. You've shared a lot of great nuggets about barriers and really understanding what you don't know. Ask questions is one of the things that you talked about. You talked about your network and how you're able to really thrive with your network, making sure that you had a sponsor and a mentor and people in the room having conversations about you when you're not even in the room. You also talked about volunteering, making sure that you're giving back, but more importantly, you're building your network and your street cred along the way when you're volunteering and you're giving back to individuals. And so when you're asking your mentor to be able to help you elevate to that next level, they are a witness to what you've already done. And so I want to thank you so much for sharing that as well. And so we ended on street cred. I'm going to pass the mic back to you to talk a little bit more about what that means as far as your network, mentor, sponsor is concerned. And then I want to talk about it in the text of being some of the best practices that we want everyone to understand. If when you're in business, there's some best practices that can really help you elevate to that next level. So I really want to talk about some of those best practices. And then I want to jump into some big ideas, and we're going to end with solutions.
Okay. So really quickly, stepping back into the space of having corporate street cred or collateral, it's really my superpower, right? Everybody has to have a superpower. Everybody has a cape. Just like sometimes we wear a mask, sometimes we wear a cape. And as a program manager, it's my responsibility to establish governance frameworks, drive process discipline, orchestrate cross-functional alignment to help reduce any silos and ensure accountability in the work that I'm doing. We talked about the key performance indicators and making sure that the strategy is aligned with that.
That's
we
right.
talked about having standard operating procedures. And as a program manager, it's really my responsibility to be the architect of operational control, to align the strategy with execution, make sure that we're mitigating all risks and ensuring consistency across complex initiatives. It's what we do, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. What I'm finding is that when I run into my female counterparts, what women bring to the platform is a unique blend of emotional intelligence,
That's right.
systems thinking, and collaborative leadership.
Mm-hmm.
We are very empathetic of feeling our stakeholders. We are very keen on making sure that we're paying attention to the details and making sure that what we're going to deliver is an execution of an inclusive leadership style. What I find with female project managers is we're fostering psychological safety and encouraging teams, male, female, no matter what color, no matter what that ethnicity, making sure that we're encouraging the teams to surface issues before they escalate, making sure that we're transforming the business and corporate spaces with grace.
That's
Pun
right.
intended.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I absolutely love it. And Grace, I think one of the things that you do so well is that you make it user friendly, right? So a lot of times in small businesses, when they don't understand something, it's hard for them to say, hey, I have this thing, right? And I need you to kind of help me create the process with the technology that exists to mitigate the risk. Because at the end of the day, I'm still responsible for the thing, right? So coming to you and coming to your team and being able to be vulnerable and transparent is important for small business. And I need all of my small business to understand you need a grace. You need someone that is able to help you with the compliance and able to help you with the process and the technology and to mitigate risk, because at the end of the day, it's your business. And you're responsible for everything that happens under your business, right? So just like I tell my small business owners, you need a lawyer, you need an accountant, you need a grace. So these are the things that you need if you want to be successful. The reason I like doing this show is because I want businesses around the world to understand all the different components that they need to take it to the next level. I want to build wealth in 2026. Able to have individuals that are running these business to look at this show and say, hey, here are some of the tools that I need to move to the next level. Here are some of the things that may not be working in my business that I need to share that can take someone else to the next level. And that's why it's so important for you to be here. So I want you to talk a little bit more about some of your other best practices. This is one of them, leading with grace. We got that one. Tell me about some of the other best practices as well.
So really quick, in the space that I'm setting, what we want to do is we want to institutionalize quality by design, right? We want to make sure that we are high impact on the best practices and forward-looking solutions that are going to drive transformation for operational excellence for all of these businesses. I truly believe that large organizations, those days are over. That small businesses are going to be able to create pipelines to enforce standards from start to finish. I think that when we're working with all of these small businesses, we're going to be able to work in a space that's independent, negotiable, valuable, small, and testable. And it's going to implement a space where we can all work together, we can all grow, where we can partner with our accountants and we can partner with our attorneys and we can partner with program managers, and we can make sure that the internal client and the external client is growing and the challenges are on the forefront so that we can resolve them as quickly as possible. Depending on the business, there are different complexities. Depending on what you decide the product is that you're going to provide for your external client, you want to make sure that your team is developing a dynamic, continuously updated integration and transformation into the next best thing, so that you always have business, that you're always generating business, and that your old clients are interested in what you're doing next, so that your old clients stay your consistent clients. You want to formulate plans around what your approach is, what the current state of the client is, and what the future state should be, so that you can make sure that you are building a client pipeline for yourself so that you can be successful day over day, week over week, year over year, decade over decade.
Client pipeline. Talk a little bit about that, because I think it's really important.
Say again?
Talk a little more about the client pipeline. I think
so you want to build the pipeline in such a way that it's easier to maintain your client base. There's nothing worse than having to establish a client base, deliver a product, and then start from scratch with new clients.
absolutely, absolutely,
Right.
and that's what a lot of my businesses need. They need to have that as the basis. You're starting with your client. You're building that relationship with them. You should always have a next. You should always be able to feed that pipeline. And I think that is so important. That's why I asked you to elaborate a little more on it.
So planning on that is the DNA of what we are doing as business owners, is making sure that we are treating our clients like they're strategic assets. We want to maintain our relationships so that we're investing with our clients to make sure that everything that we're offering is clear and there's a shared understanding across the business relationship that they're going to come back to you. They're going to recommend you for other clients. They're going to recommend you to their friends and their enemies, right? Because every client is a client.
That's right.
And you want to make sure that you are very early on identifying what you're going to develop for the client, what you can do for the client.
That's right.
You want to time box it, because there are short-term goals and longer-term goals. And you want to make sure that you hook them quick.
And what are some strategies for doing that?
Get to know your customer before you offer them the product. Make sure that you are 80% aware of what it is your client needs, wants, or desires, and spend time with your client learning what they're saying when they're not saying anything. Because clients will tell you what it is that they actually need and they actually want, but they may not be direct. And
That's
so
right.
new business owners have to find a way to know what your client wants that's not documented, that's hidden, and make sure that you're building a living relationship so that you can integrate with the client and transform their business, and in turn transforming your business, so that
Absolutely.
you're dependent upon each other to be successful.
Absolutely. I think that's really, really important that we understand that we are stronger together, right? So we're building this together. And as long as you're paying attention to what your client want, what they're asking you for, and what they need, because, we're in a space where we're able to see a step or two ahead of where they are, so we can help them get to that next level as well. And so that's why I wanted you really to talk a little bit more about that client pipeline and helping them to understand the importance, especially as a business owner. You want to know your customer. Word of mouth is still top, number one. You know, it can make or break you. So knowing that people are talking about you and talking about what you're able to deliver to them, they're going to bring others to you. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you're listening and you understand what your clients need. But more importantly, make sure you're doing your research and staying ahead of your client so that you are able to feed that pipeline and grow together. It's all about building wealth as one. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Resilience and adaptability.
Resilience, adaptability.
Not
Absolutely.
ambiguity or rigidity.
That's right. That's right. So I want you to talk a little bit about now. So we talked about some barriers. We talked about best practices. I want you to talk a little bit about big ideas. You know, I mean, there's so much that in technology that exists right now. So for me, one of the big ideas is just streamlining a lot of the processes that I do. And then having the right tools to be able to do that so that I am able to feed that pipeline. What are some of the big ideas for other small business that, or for you even as a small business owner? Tell me a little bit about that.
What I want to do is I want our new business owners to think about the fact that if you have worked on a project for a specific customer in a specific industry, repurpose that project, repurpose that timeline in a different industry for a client that has similar growth needs. For instance, we can deliver technology in the health space, in the medical and health space. We can deliver that same technology in financial services.
Wow.
The same technology for the Department of Defense in the military.
That's right.
And AI is evolving from being an assistant to being more of an autonomous agent. And women are leading the way in designing all of those AI systems. All of those new technologies are now being shaped, and these tools are supporting caregiving, education, entrepreneurship, and the platforms that are coming today in technology are amplifying our voices as women.
That's right. That's right.
Right? And so while you're building your client base, remember that to not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Remember that what you are doing for one client, you can modify it and you can do it for another client.
Okay. Okay. And I think it's really important for us to do that, repurposing your technology, modifying your technology, and having a continuous stream of opportunities for your small business owners. I think that's really, really important. I think it's really important. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. We're talking to Grace, and she's giving us all the nuggets. So take out your pen and paper and make sure you're ready to take it to the next level. Thank you so much, Grace.
Excellent.
Third Wall Street is a new emerging global capital markets formation and structured trifactor financial hub at the U.S. Third Border in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, in the Caribbean and Latin America. The new Third Wall Street is the home of the Alexander Hamilton Financial Center and named in honor of Alexander Hamilton, an American founding father, first U.S. Treasury Secretary, and architect of the U.S. financial system and modern America. Third Wall Street is located in a U.S. National Heritage Area, Opportunity Zone, and the boyhood home of Alexander Hamilton in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Island, connecting 3 financial hubs in the Americas by way of new innovative financial technology and markets: New York Wall Street South, Brickell Avenue, Miami, and Third Wall Street in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and established the new Caribbean America's single economy zone, developed by SETI Case Capital Markets. Third Wall Street will transform financial markets, improving access to capital worldwide. Visit www.thirdwallstreet.com to learn more. SETI Case Efficacy Chain. SETI Case Efficacy Chain, also known as Chain of Efficacy, a digital chain. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Educate, efficiency, effectiveness, and evolve. So whether you are doing market research, studying, doing market analysis, or making a critical financial decision, get the latest breaking, developing market news in the cryptocurrency markets at www.efficacycoin.com. Efficacy Cryptocurrency News is powered by Case Capital Markets.
Hello, welcome back to the Coaxum Report. We got Grace, and she is giving us so much knowledge and information. So take out your pens, take out your papers. She started off talking to us about some barriers and making sure we ask some questions, making sure we have the right network, and include, in addition to having a mentor, making sure that you have a sponsor. And then she went on talking about accountability and some of the best practices. She started talking about collateral, and our street cred, and making sure that before you start asking for someone to do something for you, make sure that you're putting in the work, so to speak, right? So you're volunteering, that you're going out and you're being a part of the organization and agencies, and you're letting that quote unquote mentor see your work, see what you're doing, so they can speak up for you. So she started talking about that. And then she also went into talking about emotional intelligence and communication, accountability, forward thinking. And so we've had some great conversation about what she's doing in the industries, repurposing your technology for your different business. Same thing you're doing with financial, you can probably still do for your restaurant business. You can probably still do for your service business, you probably can still do for. And so understanding that and making sure that you're feeding your business pipeline. Understand your customer, understand your client. When you get your client and your customer in, understand that whole person and what they need. Always be doing the research to have a couple of steps ahead of them so that you can help continue to feed that pipeline. We talked about word of mouth. Word of mouth is still number one, right? So individuals will bring others to you. Make sure that you're ready to help them build wealth on all those different levels, and you're delivering on what you're supposed to be delivering on, what you say you're delivering on. So we got some great nuggets. I thank you so much for sharing so much with us. I want you to talk to us. We talked about various best practices. We're talking about big ideas now. You talked about technology. I think one of the things, I do a lot of training and workshops around AI. And so understanding that women's voice is shaping that technology right now today. And so, we're working smarter now and not harder using AI. And whether you know it or not, AI is in your phone. It's in your computer. It's in your bills. If you're going on to pay, I called NYU Langone for my mom the other day. It was an AI assistant that answered the phone. Or when I called for her healthcare agency, it was an AI assistant that answered the phone. And so we need to understand that we too can use these technologies because they're available to us as well. And so we have our customer service that we can utilize through AI, and we don't even have to have a virtual assistant now. We literally can have an AI assistant doing the work because the technology exists. And so Grace has given us all these wonderful nuggets to be able to go out and do the research. And she said, be immersed in it. If this is something that you think is important, then it's something that you have to be to know more about, so that you can utilize it to the best of your ability. So I want to thank you so much for that, Grace. I want you to talk to us a little bit or more around best practices, and then we're going to end with some solutions, big ideas, and then we're going to end with solutions. I mean, silly how time flies when we're having fun. It's almost over. But can you give us one more big idea, and then I want you to end with solutions. If you're looking back at Grace 5 years ago, what would you say to Grace Clark then that be able to take her to the next level now in this space?
So funny you would ask that question. The same thing I would say to myself 5 years ago is what I said to myself when I became a program manager and a project manager when I certified.
Yeah.
Stay in the classroom. If you spend 35 hours a week and 40 hours a week, you need to spend 5 to 10 hours learning something. In the technology space, quantum computing, biotech, green computing, circular tech, carbon aware AI, all of these things are booming.
I'm reading. I'm like, what? I love the language.
And women are increasingly the benefactors of scholarships, incubators, policy initiatives. They are all targeted at gender equity fields so that women can bring what we need to bring. We can step into this critical role that's in this new cybersecurity space and align strategy, policy, education, all the things, right? All these programs need to expand and we need to be trained. So I would tell myself the same thing I did when I became a project manager. Stay in school. Spend time studying. If you can doom scroll early in the morning, every morning after you do your motivation and after you do your prayers, you could spend a few minutes learning the new AI. The trend should be about learning. The trend should be about participation. As a business owner, if you find out information that you've learned in the classroom or you learned from something that you were researching applies to a client, send them the information, whether they've paid for it or not. This way, your client knows that you are thinking about them and they are always at the forethought of your mind so that there's no threat to them going to another client because they know that Grace and Terry are going to make sure that they get the most information, the best information.
That's right.
And the newest information that's out there to keep them relevant, which helps to keep us relevant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think it's important for us to to always think of a client as a part of our team because they are part of our team. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have 2 more minutes. 2 minutes. That's it. What would you like to share in the last 2 minutes?
In the last 2 minutes, I want to say that if you are not in a field that is technology heavy or it's medicine heavy, remember that in our communities, we need more people who look like us to ask the questions. There's AI-powered menopause support. There's smart pelvic floor trainers, and people who look like us need to learn how to use those tools so that we can go back to our communities to share that information, whether it's to be paid to share the information or we're going to use these tools to address long ignored health needs and open doors for women who will fund digital health, as well as provide platforms that are going to amplify women's voices in AI governance. So let's do something for each other that in turn will help the community and of course help us as well.
Absolutely. And we're going to end on a note that we are our sisters' keepers. So that's what we're doing in our business, making sure that we're making the world a better place. I want to thank you so much, Grace, for being a part of the Coaxum Report. And I look forward to working together with you more on really building out these foundations for our community to be able to take it to the next level. Thank you so much for being on the Coaxum Report. Have a super amazing day on purpose. And guys, make sure you catch us on Tempo this weekend. So again, download the app, One Connect, so you can always be in touch with us, ourtv.network. You can go on and see any others of our shows. And thank you again, Grace, for being a part of the Coaxum Report today. Have a super amazing day. Take care. Be blessed. Bye.
Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.